Well, it's important to understand that when we get into battles about information and who can give it and who can speak, that it's an instrumental value, because the real goal is to empower the patient. That's a very American value, self-determination of the patient. It's probably not seen as much in Great Britain or Cuba, but it is here. So then the question becomes, is the information usable by the patient? And so those are the principles that need to be laid out in terms of trying to understand who gets to speak. So once we understand that what we're really talking about is patient empowerment, not what's good for the payer or good for the drug company or good for the doctor, then I think certain principles come right to the fore. The first is we need to insist upon accurate information. Now, setting up standards for what that is, the FDA has some of those in place and some are being challenged, but we don't have them for comparative effectiveness research. We don't know what's accurate or valid because that's a relatively new part of, if you will, health services research. So we need those standards. Information has to be understandable. It's great that people want to give out information, but if you can't understand it ultimately, or it comes from your payer in tiny type, or it's a dump of information that's overwhelming you from a provider or from a company, it's not useful. So understandable information. You need to know all your options. When I make choices, I have to know what the full range of choices are. I can't have a company come to me and say, use this drug, it's great, it may be great, but they didn't tell me I could also lose weight or I could also do another kind of drug that would be equally great. I have to have all my choices. So, if you will, full alternatives, complete choices are requisite to making good choices. And probably another key tenet morally about what's going on is I have to have trust in the provider. So if they have a conflict of interest or they have an agenda, I need to know what that is, even though that doesn't make the information false or it doesn't make it poor, I need to weigh it. So those are some of the values I think that are key.